Hello and welcome to today's NinjaTrader ecosystem event, trading stocks and futures with NinjaTrader tools with Sai and Paul of Pinnacle Trading. My name is Thomas and I'm a platform representative here at NinjaTrader. Now, before we start the webinar, I have a few housekeeping notes. Now, this webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed to the NinjaTrader brokerage team using the phone number or email on the screen. And if you are new to NinjaTrader, please make sure you sign up for a free demo with real-time market data. Our platform is always free for advanced charting, strategy back testing, and trade simulation. You can get your free demo account by following the link on the screen. And before I turn the mic over to Cy and Paul, it is important to understand that futures, foreign currency, and options trading contains substantial risk and is not suitable for every investor. It is possible to lose all or more than the initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performances is not necessarily indicative of future results. Now, please remember that these trading sessions are not solicitation or recommendation, but simply educational in nature. And I want to thank again for joining us today. And without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome to the Ninja webinar room, Cy and Paul.
Hello, welcome everyone. This is Sai here.
Hi everyone, this is Paul.
I'm the founder of Pinnacle Trading. My name's Sai. Everyone, welcome to NinjaTrader ecosystem event. Thank you for joining today. And I'm the founder of Pinnacle Trading. I started mainly to help out others, create a big community where people can not feel intimidated to chat with others, correlate, and share their trading ideas, kind of setups, and everything that they have learned over the years. I have prop trading desk experience. I've traded equities, options, and futures. I have used advanced trading strategy and optimization, which includes backtest methods using different strategies that I create, and also ones that are built into the system on the trading platforms itself. And I use a lot of technical analysis using research, moving averages, volume, level 2, and also looking at the news and doing my due diligence on the market and the current economy. If you have followed me on YouTube videos on Pinnacle Trading on the YouTube itself, I do a lot of trading, investing, and education videos. So I'll hand it over to Paul to introduce himself.
Hi everyone, thanks Sai. I've been trading for, probably a little more over 16 years now. I also worked at a desk for a few years, private equity. It was basically a private hedge fund. And I did some quantitative strategies, pairs trading, building automated strategies, back testing, a lot of different things. And it's kind of just a function of the markets, finding, anything that's liquid that moves. I went from trading equities to futures, and now I do a lot of options trading as well. And I'm joining Sai today really just to kind of go over how you can use NinjaTrader to simplify your trading. Sai will go into briefly what he offers through his Discord chat room. And then what I'll do after he's done, I'll take over and jump into a specific strategy using just the order flow tools that NinjaTrader provides. And really the point of that, just quick overview. When I was learning, I met dozens of aspiring traders and people that were trying to get into it, and trading, you hear that statistic that a lot of traders fail. I'm not going to use that 90 whatever percent that they use. I think that's inaccurate. Really what it is I think people just get burned out on the process of learning how to trade and then sticking with one consistent strategy. As we learn, we start adding more and more things to the charts. Most of you have probably been through that. You probably have spaghetti charts that you've saved somewhere that you can pull up still, and it has probably every indicator you can imagine on there. And I think a lot of people go through that. And what's happened with the advent of Twitter and social media, Instagram, now everybody has gone from, before trading education used to be very focused. A lot of brokers used to offer it, very expensive to get into some of these things. And now everybody pretty much offers some sort of training, education, or alert service. And what I wanted to kind of do was kind of get you away from that, have you focus on just the platform. NinjaTrader is a very powerful platform. It's come a long way since NinjaTrader 7. It does a lot more things. And when they introduced the order flow tools, to me, that was a game changer for the average trader. These are tools that I had been using when I was working the prop desk, the equity desks. We had similar tools using even more so just spreadsheets. But now a way to visualize that with order flow tools is very, very helpful. So I'll go into a specific setup. I'll try to keep it quick. We really appreciate your time. I don't like to be on these very long either. So we'll try to get through all the slides, and then I'll show you basically how we can put this together without having to go out and buy more indicators or buy more tools. A lot of people sell indicators and they call them custom indicators, but everything is a function of something that existed before. So my goal is to try to get you guys away from having to go spend more money on third-party indicators that honestly, frankly, you don't need, and just use the NinjaTrader platform to develop your trading. And that's hopefully at the end of this, you'll see that that's really all you need. You don't need to go out and buy anything else. So Sai, with that, go ahead and take over, and I'll jump in when you're done.
Thanks, Paul. So about Pinnacle Trading, our ecosystem consists of all types of traders and even investors to provide you with the right alerts and education to cover you from all angles. So that means whether you're new to the trading or whether you have some sort of experience, in other chat rooms or kind of seen online, or just want to really get into the stock market itself, we cover you on all angles on that. So Pinnacle Trading was founded to making trading simple for everyone. Our mission is to provide live market alerts, and that means the most updated alerts soon as possible, and for all types of traders with the proper guidance and education. We will teach you the steps to getting started with trading and display consistent methodology and education, which is our primary focus, so that you can trade or invest without any intimidation. So we want anybody that's brand new, which you may not know a single thing about the stock market, or you may have some experience, or you may be an advanced trader. But we always focus on education, putting that together, and creating confidence as a trader and investor in the stock market, so that there's no intimidation and you're able to take things on your own and grasp it in a way that you may not have seen in other places. So this is a quick day trade example. So our chat room, we call out a lot of these trade ideas. We do day trading, swing trading, long-term investing, we do commodities trading, and even options, and a lot more in the chat room. We try to keep it simple layout, which I'll show you in just a second, but this is a past day trade example. So on this one, we traded Visa. This was just shares. So I said I entered at 213 price. So once the stock started going over 214.3, that's where my initial profit target area was. I was looking to take profit between 215 to 220. And I said, now that the stock is going up, take profits as you'd like, which is I leave it open just because I'll say the range on that one, but I'll also leave it open because not everybody has the time to day trade. Not everybody has the time to immediately pull up the chart on their phone or whatever they're doing during the day. So I say take profits as you like, which means what you are, I'll be happy with what you get. So once it went over my target at 215, that's where I covered some more profits, and using my strategy from YouTube video last night, which means I posted a YouTube video on there sharing my day trading strategy, and I was using the exact same one on this one. And this is worked out to be an exact similar example that I used it to follow this day trade idea. And then I exited half position and I said I'm riding the rest with the trailing stop at 214. I didn't see it going up too much momentum. So I said exit, I exited, got filled at 214.9. And then I sold the rest at 214.5 because markets were looking a little weak. I didn't really see the upward momentum I wanted. And then it ran a little bit more after hours on 217 on a little bit of news and overall market. So I said it went over to 217. Basically, if you're still holding, you can cover profits after hours. So we keep it very simple. We take an initial position. We like to scale into the position. This one worked out that we didn't have to add any more because they didn't drop after. I like to catch things when they're on the confirmation on the reversal, and which I'll show you in just a second. And it went up. We had an initial profit, then we had a second profit, which was in the target zone. And then the last exit price was more deeper in the profit zone, but I already exited by then. So that's just an example of what you'll see in the chat room, which keeps it very simple and not very intimidating because I'm saying exactly what I'm doing. All you have to do on your end is basically do some quick due diligence, follow my examples that I teach and my education, and then take the trade itself. So this is our chat room layout. We keep it very simple. In the top, you'll see the trading prep, which is basically our chat area, watch list, and analysis that we'll post. And then our trade ideas. This is where we do the day trades, specific for day trading, one for swing trading, and one for long-term investing plays. So that keeps it very simple. That's where I call out the play that you just saw over here, the past day trade example. And in the VIP section, this is the exclusive chat section. This is the VIP members, includes along with the course. So that's the area where we call out a lot of strategies, everything that we're using from the course itself. So I keep those separate, but the rest of the chat room is completely free to join. And then the commodities trading alerts is where we do gas, gold, silver, other commodities like that. And then in the feedback is kind of where we share our goals and dreams, what we want to get out of trading itself or just in general, and a lot of testimonials where people leave their feedback. And then our education, which can be my videos from YouTube, links that I believe are beneficial, or just things that I've created or want to share with others. And these are all open for people to share because education is key, right? It's key to success. And then our voice channels. This is our live voice chat room, which we'll do every week or every other week, kind of getting people to engage, ask questions, why I took some trades, and they can ask me what I am taking itself and why, or if they want me to look at the stock and kind of just do a quick chat. And then that's open to everyone. And then we have a live trading tab, which on the mornings that I have time, I'll go on the live voice chat with Paul or some of the other members in there to call out live trade ideas. And chat room was created to keep it very simple so that each section serves its purpose without any confusion. And how we differ from others is that a lot of other chat rooms, they charge a fee for the chat room. We do not. Our chat room is completely free. So when you click the join chat room button, all you have to do is make a Discord account. We run it on the Discord platform. It's very easy to use on your phone, laptop, or any mobile device. And it's completely free to join. You immediately get access to the chat room. And others, there's no communication with the admin or the other people. So that's something we try to shy against, because if you can't talk with the admin, you can't talk with other people, it's really not beneficial because you can't correlate your ideas with them and you can't talk with the member or the admin on why they're taking the trade or what's going on. So you're kind of following blindly and you're on your own. We don't believe in that. And new stock alerts almost every day. So a lot of these chat rooms, they trade stock alerts, different stocks every single day, multiple trades thrown at you like almost every minute or every 5-10 minutes. And we don't believe in that. We want to keep it simple and only handpick the trades that we take. And there's limited or no trade plan. So a lot of these places have a chat room that just say trade alerts. We don't do alerts, right? We don't alert people on just saying, hey, buy this here, sell this here, etc. We put trade ideas, which means it's an idea, which means we share our analysis, we share our entry, exit, stop loss, what we plan on doing with the trade. So it's a trade idea. So you take the trade if you like it. If it doesn't present beneficial to you, then you don't take it. We want you to take it based on education and your due diligence. It's not just a trade alert. We're not just telling you, we're throwing an idea at you. And if you like it, you take it. And there's a lot of high pressured sales tactics and get rich quick schemes that tempt many people. A lot of these other ones, chat rooms or on Twitter or social media, you'll see get rich quick or make $1,000 a week, or a lot of these high pressure sales tactics just to get you in the room and just to get you tempted. A lot of the profits, which may not even be in a real account, or they're just showing things that they've taken from other people, or not. A lot of them may not be real. But in our chat room, it's free to join. You can communicate with anybody in the chat room, including us admins, founder, myself, and you can also chat with other members. And you're welcome to talk with other people, say anything you'd like. And you can follow trade ideas with proper trade plan and analysis that we post. Just like I said, we put the chart, we put the analysis, we say why we're taking the trade, what we see in the trade. Sometimes I'll even post my YouTube videos night or a week before what I'm trading, what I'm looking to trade. We offer education, which is a course, which is exclusive discount today at the end of the presentation for everyone here. And there's no need to blindly follow or trade alerts because we don't have alerts. We have trade ideas. And we trade carefully, handpicked stocks. If you've already been in my chat room or watched my videos, a lot of these handpicked stocks are ones I've been trading for years back to back. So I don't trade a brand new stock every single day like many other people do. And we want our members to succeed. We care about you. We'll ask you questions and you can ask us questions. And we go back and forth. So I'll hand it over to Paul from here. He's going to explain NinjaTrader chart examples and using their powerful tools. And he also mentioned why you may not need to buy a lot of the tools that other people sell because they're already incorporated in NinjaTrader itself. So I'll hand it over to Paul.
Thanks, yeah. And just to add one more comment to what you mentioned, it's like a lot of those rooms or these posts on Twitter, they'll show made 500% last week in trading options or something like that, or just random numbers they throw out there. They don't substantiate. They don't show audited brokerage statements, but so many people see that, and it's like the old infomercials back in the day, right? And they make a lot of money off that. And if you do the math, if they're charging $50 a month to subscribe to some alert room or chat room, and you multiply that by just a couple hundred people, you're talking $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month. It's clear that some of these places are probably making more money selling subscriptions than they are actually trading. So just to get moving, if you want to jump to the next slide for me. All right, perfect. So let's start off, jump right in. NinjaTrader comes with order flow tools if you own I believe it's the lifetime version. I'll let Thomas kind of clarify which versions include the order flow tools, but it's part of the platform. If you own a specific version of the platform, that's probably the only thing that I could say that would need to be purchased at this point. And what you get with that are a variety of tools that used to be only available through third-party companies. So I'll go through them briefly, but just wanted to mention that it's all included with the platform, and you just need to have the right data feed to display the volume data. And what I want to focus on is one specific setup. I'm going to share that setup with you guys. I'm not going to sell it. There's nothing for you to buy at the end of this. If it's not clear, again, these slides are a little bit older, so don't worry about that. Don't pay attention to the date of the contracts. I can provide current slides in the room if necessary. But for the purpose of this presentation, I just kind of wanted to go through it real quick and kind of just show you an overview of what the tools look like and how I would put this together to create a trading setup. And again, this is trading specifically futures, but it will work on stocks. It will work on any market that's highly liquid and that has somewhat of a central exchange to monitor volume data. So what wouldn't it work in? Well, I would say it probably wouldn't work too well on crypto, just because crypto is handled by multiple exchanges. It probably would not work very well on Forex, meaning the Forex spot market. You could trade it on currency futures. So if you wanted to trade the euro, for example, on the futures contract, you could trade the 6E. However, the volume on the spot market is much higher than it is on the currency futures. So the data may not reflect that accurately. The charts may show you one thing, price may do something else. So please keep that in mind. Please keep that in mind when you're trading certain things, because usually the question I get from a lot of people when I start talking about this is, well, can I trade this, or can I trade that, or can I trade penny stocks? Can I trade other? You can trade any highly liquid instrument. Okay, it could be corn, it could be other futures contracts, it could be the indexes, it can be large cap stocks. So anything that has volume will tend to work well with these tools. Okay, that out of the way, let's move on. So order flow, VWAP, cumulative delta, those are the first two indicators. And what I want to point out here is VWAP, so volume weighted average price. How is it used? Why is it used? This is a great tool intraday. I'm going to give you guys a pro tip real quick with VWAP. A lot of people push VWAP, and I see it used incorrectly frequently on everything from social media to YouTube videos. VWAP is most effective, just so you know, earlier in the day. As the day progresses and volume reaches a certain point, the VWAP no longer tends to be as effective for intraday setups. So this is specifically for intraday. This would not be like, I wouldn't typically recommend using VWAP for position trading or even swing trading, depending on how far back you want to use the historical VWAPs, or anchored VWAPs. But typically for an intraday setup, the earlier in the morning, the better, because the most volume initially is going to affect how the VWAP is calculated and how it plots price on the chart. And then using the deviations around the VWAP, as you can see in that screen or in that slide, you have price below VWAP. The VWAP itself is colored red. And then you have the deviations, or the range above and below the VWAP, where price has touched or tagged and then kind of reverts to the VWAP because of the way VWAP is calculated. So that would be the first tool you could use. I have it showing on a 3-minute chart. You can use it on a tick chart. You can use other types of bars if you want to, but for the sake of simplicity, I would start out learning. If you're just learning how to use it, I would say start with a minute chart, a time-based chart. So 3 minutes, perfectly fine. And then below the VWAP, okay, so you can see how price reacted with the VWAP, but below the VWAP, I have another indicator that is also included with NinjaTrader. It's called the order flow cumulative delta. And what the delta is really showing you, I'm going to give you the simplest way to use delta, because delta you can kind of get a little, down a rabbit hole with this, trying to overanalyze it. Essentially, delta should follow price. When it doesn't follow price is when you should probably pay attention. And if you look at the slide, which I didn't mark it up because I wasn't, this is an older slide, so I didn't make any changes to it. But if you look at what happened on delta, right around between 2 and 3, you'll see as price on the price chart was over VWAP, okay? It hit the second standard deviation above the VWAP. Delta started reversing before price did. And you can see that delta was already near the zero line. So we already had somewhat of a kind of a weaker delta, showing basically the difference in aggressiveness between buyers and sellers. And that's kind of the key takeaway from this tool, is you can use delta to complement your other tools that you use to find a possible entry, but you don't want to trade delta on its own. So the way I would use this is to confirm price action, to confirm that I see weaker buyers stepping in to kind of take price higher. And what we see is delta slowly falling negative as price kind of tried to maintain above VWAP. Eventually price breaks down. And as you can see around, 3:30 possibly, price broke below the VWAP and continued into a downtrend. Delta had already started showing weakness. Okay, so very simple to use. Don't overcomplicate it, guys. Delta, use it in combination with some of the other order flow tools. All right, go ahead and jump to the next slide. A quick answer to this question. Someone asked, how about CFDs? I'll have to look into that. I don't know how CFDs would work with that. And I honestly don't know if you can plot. Well, I'd have to look into CFD. So I can't answer that question, Cyril, at the moment, but I could certainly get you an answer to that later if you want to reach out to me after. All right, so moving on to the next slide, order flow market depth. How do we use this? Now, this is a very, this slide isn't the greatest. It's a very basic representation of what market depth is. It's also been called a footprint chart. The company that originally coined that phrase footprint chart is no longer in business. So, but a lot of people know it as a footprint chart, but NinjaTrader calls it market depth. And as you can see, I have a footprint or market depth chart with the delta data below in the subchart, and then the cumulative delta in the form of candles on the very lowest subchart. So as you can see, all three of those, what that tells you, essentially the quickest version I can, or quick explanation I can give you is market depth is used to kind of see where price is, where the balance in prices between buyers and sellers. Okay. You have buyers and sellers battling at every price level. And this was a way to visualize that and to see who's more aggressive. It's not more buyers or more sellers. There is always a buyer and there's always a seller. So if you ever hear someone say, oh, there's more buyers than sellers, that's why it's going up, that's incorrect. That is not true. There has to be someone willing to sell at a certain price for that buyer to be able to buy it at that price. So always remember that. It's just a matter of who's more aggressive, who has bigger orders, who's moving more capital that day. It could be a hedge fund, it could be institutional, it could be a group of retail traders. For example, when we had the meme stock craze with GME or AMC or whatever you want to call it, that event, you know, retail traders and Reddit all got together and you just had this massive flow of aggressive buying. But there were sellers at those prices. There was always somebody on the other end of that. So just remember that it's a distinction that needs to be made because people use that incorrectly and it's just bad information. And then below that, the delta data kind of shows you those in terms of percentages and total total contracts traded, I guess in this case, since we're looking at the NASDAQ, this is an NQ chart. But as you can see, you'll see percentages there below the candlesticks or below the candles that show negative 44%, negative 40%, positive 9%. Now, what you'll notice is these percentages started increasing as price started moving higher. So it's just another identifier. It's another way to use one of the tools that's included in the platform to show you who's in control, buyers or sellers, who's more aggressive, where's price tending to go? Well, we saw a negative, it went from 9% to negative 60%. And then the next candle was a 33% positive delta. And as you can see, that looked like a very narrow range candle. And then the next price jumped from 11,386 to 11,388. And it kind of continued into an uptrend from there. And the delta was increasing each time. And so you can use that. And this is in real time, guys. This isn't like this isn't like a lagging indicator. This order flow information is occurring in real time. So you're seeing it as it's happening, and it helps you make determinations intraday, where to get in, where to set your stops, where to set your levels. And so that's just another, you can see also the delta on the very bottom of this chart was also starting to turn positive. But again, delta tends to follow price. So when do you pay attention to delta? When it diverges or when it shows something different than what price is doing. That's when you might want to take note, make a note of it, add a horizontal line as possible, pivot level or area of resistance or support. So that's how I would use this chart. And again, this is a 30-second market depth chart. Okay. All right. Sai, if you go to the next slide, please. Okay. Volume profile, one of my favorite tools to mark up my charts. How do I use this? Okay, everybody should use volume profile. Doesn't matter what you trade. Volume profile is a great tool. It shows you where buying and selling took place on a chart, but it gives you kind of like a visual reference on support and resistance. People are always wondering, like, well, how do you know where to put these support and resistance lines? Okay. Some other company will come around and try to sell you some made up custom indicator that plots, support and resistance lines. You don't need it. Okay. You can do it yourself. It's actually better if you do it yourself so you know what you're doing and you understand why you're doing it. So if you take a volume profile chart, this is a 5-minute, so it's only showing one day, but you can condense this and it can show multiple days. And what I like to do is I like to take my horizontal line tool on NinjaTrader and the drawing tools, and I like to plot a horizontal line using the volume profile chart, all the high volume nodes, meaning the highest points of volume. So in this chart, for example, the highest point of, highest volume node would be right around 11,003. What was that? 11,000, between 11,350 and 11,400. Okay, you can plot a horizontal line there, and then you'll repeat that exercise with each volume profile. And you want to mark, you can do different colors for the high volume nodes, and then you can do the low volume nodes. A low volume node would be the lowest volume traded, which would be somewhere around 11,450. As you see, price touched 11,450 and then reversed. So meaning there was no additional interest above that price for this given day. Okay, it tested that price early in the session or overnight, and then during the early hours of the 10th, it retested that area 11,450, and then it rolled over into the open, or what I would say the New York Open. So that's an important area. That should have a nice bright area of resistance plotted on it, and then you can put that and take that and move that over to your intraday chart that you're actually going to use for entries. Okay, so that's how I would use the volume profile with the, again, it's included with the order flow tools. You don't need to buy another indicator, it's already there. And you just have to get in the habit of doing that. And as you post these levels, you'll start to see how price reacts as a support and resistance area, how well it reacts to those areas. So it's like a magnet, it really is. And it's helpful. It will help you identify when and where to look for setups, possible entry short, or where to take profit if you're long. And okay, so if you go to the next slide, I think that's all I wanted to cover on that one. I think we have another volume. There we go. So this one shows multiple days. And this one I did mark the charts up for you guys. So as you can see, I posted, you see the yellow lines there, I added those. Those are not added by the platform or by the indicator. Could you code it up? Could you have somebody code this up for you to automatically plot that? Possibly, yes. That's one of the beautiful things about NinjaTrader is you can build custom indicators or custom code of things. But again, this is for you. I am not here to sell you something that does that. You would have to find someone that codes in Ninja, and they would basically create that tool using the data from the volume profile. And so in this case, let's see here. Excuse me. Okay. All right. So we can see here where the first volume node or the resistance area price reacted through that area, 11,460, it looks like, broke down, tested a range there. And you can see how price traded, very high volume. This is a highly traded area, and price seemed to consolidate back and forth between, revert to this area back and forth a few times before it broke down. And that was on September 8th. If you jump over to September 9th, you'll see price had moved into, reversed back up to that area. And it respected those zones. So again, there's no fancy indicator here, guys. This was just volume traded that I plotted on the 8th. And look how well that area or that level held on the 9th. And what did it do on the 10th? So you can see why volume profile is considered an important tool, why I like it, or I consider it one of the better tools out there available. This didn't exist, I'll say 10 years ago, but I think it did exist 10 years ago. Maybe let's say 15 years ago. Visualizing this type of data on a chart just wasn't possible with the current technology. So the fact that you guys have this available now, most people take it for granted because you guys are used to seeing all these indicators now, but this is something that had to be looked at on spreadsheets. You couldn't see this on a chart for a long time. Before, this came around, you had point and figure charts and some other types of charts, but a lot of really relevant information here. You guys need to spend some time using volume profile, seeing how you can add these levels on there. And I think you'll find it very, very useful in your trading. And again, so this was one example of showing just how well it worked. And again, this is the micro NASDAQ chart. So you can use it on the micros, micro contracts. It does track the larger index. I think not tick for tick, but it does track it almost identically in terms of scale. So, all All right, and that's a 5 minute. So question, sorry, not following how you were reading the volume chart from the green to red on spikes. Okay, so you can customize the volume profile chart however you like. This is just happens to be the one I used for the slide. Red indicates selling activity, green indicates buying activity. But I don't want you to pay attention, or I don't want you to focus on the red and green. What I want you to focus on is the high volume and the low volume, meaning the high volume area. Si, if you could take your cursor, because my cursor doesn't show up, I don't think. So just show the highest volume nodes there, the longest in the towards the middle. Yeah, that would be a high volume node. Move up a little, the next one. That would be a high volume node right there. And then you go to the next one. That would be a high volume node right there. And then the top one would be a low volume node, meaning price was rejected at that level. So that's what I want you to focus on. Ignore the red and the green. You can customize that however you like. I just did that for visual purposes to kind of show you, look, buying and selling is all shown in that data. Okay, so you can see everything that was transacted at that price. And that's what volume profile does. It shows everything that was traded at those prices. And I marked up a few of the levels. I could have added a couple more yellow lines or horizontal lines to there to help. And as you can see, price did react at those other high volume areas on September 10th from that could have been plotted on September 9th. So you can use this tool to plot potential or future levels of support and resistance. That's probably the best way I can summarize that. Okay, and you're not going to find a better tool anywhere that can do that. It doesn't exist. So I hope, does that help, DB? Does that make more sense? Is anyone not clear on how we use volume profile at this point? Okay, perfect. Sounds like everybody's on the same page. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is a little bit different. The volume profile here is 2 weeks. It's called a composite 2-week profile. Again, you used to have to buy this from a company, from some other vendor, to install this on your trading platform to then show you this data. NinjaTrader includes it. It's in the platform. You're getting a 2-week composite profile. The last 2 weeks of the most highly traded areas on the price chart for whatever instrument you're trading. In this case, this is a NASDAQ chart, 2 minute, but the data showing on the right-hand side, that blue histogram on the right there, all that whole thing is 2 weeks of volume traded. So again, you can plot your levels based on that for the prior 2 weeks, and then you can use that in combination with your other levels, in combination with the market depth chart and the VWAP to find intraday entries and potential areas of exits, take profit, stop loss, everything. You can do all of your risk management through this. So it's a beautiful tool, and it is included with the platform. Don't have to buy it, anything else. And you can see how price reacted. I'm not cherry picking anything. This is just one day. You can do this yourself and prove it to yourself. Take a chart from every day this week and plot the levels from a 2-week composite, and you'll see how often price gravitates and reacts at those levels. All right, so I think that covers that. Everyone kind of knows what that is. Let's move on to the next slide. All right, perfect. So we're getting close to the end here. Here is the order flow volume profile on the left. And then I have a VWAP chart on the right. And all I wanted to show here was that when these levels show confluence, meaning price is reacting at the same areas. So on this NASDAQ chart, we have a 2-minute chart on the volume profile. The levels were already marked up ahead of time, okay? And as you can see, 11,347 also happened to be an area on the VWAP chart that showed 1, 2 on the second standard deviation. You can see 11,347 is a confluence area for a potential reversal. Price tends to reverse back towards VWAP because of the way VWAP is calculated. So if you wanted to take a low risk short on the NASDAQ at this time, you could have entered short using those levels, and then you would set your stop. So then another question I tend to get is, well, how do you know how far to put your stop? Pro tip I'm going to give you guys: the easiest thing you guys can do intraday to come up with what the appropriate stop is for any instrument that you're trading is to use the ATR, okay? And you want to get an ATR value of what the trading range is for that day. Every market is going to be different. I can't tell you to use a 1-point stop on the ES and then use the equivalent stop on the NQ, because they move differently and their tick values are different. And I can't tell you to transfer and use that on Google or Amazon or Apple, because those stocks, even though indexes and stocks tend to move the same direction, their values are much different. So your stop is all relative to what you're trading and what the trading range is. So the easiest cheat code that you can do to come up with a potential stop is to use what is the trading range for that instrument for the day. The ES might have a 5-6 point trading range one day. It might have a 20-point range another day. So on the day that it's trading a 20-point range, do you think using a 1-point stop is going to be smart? Do you think that's going to help your trading results, or do you think it's going to hurt your results? If the market is moving in wide ranges, you need to account for that. And you also are going to use the volume profile levels as potential areas to help you come up with that risk amount or how much you want to risk. So typically, on futures, and I can go more in depth after this through the Discord on how you would come up with a potential risk reward level, meaning a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk reward, and what that looks like trading the ES versus the NQ versus trading a stock. So typically I try to say risk no more than a couple percent, 1 to 2% if you're trading stocks, and with futures, you got to use a certain amount of points. So let me go through the questions real quick here. Do you need multi-broker license? I don't think you need multi-broker license, no, because you just need a data feed that provides stock and futures data. So like, I believe IQ feed, for example, they can give you all the data you need, and you don't need a multi-broker license. Audio, I'm sorry, I'm using a microphone on a laptop. I apologize if the audio if anyone's having an issue with the audio. It will be recorded. Hopefully the audio will be clear on the recording and you can turn it up louder. But if not, feel free to reach out to me through our Discord or through DM, and I can try to explain things further. Shouldn't a stop be put behind a big volume area or zone? Yes, that's why you're using these volume areas to come up with where you want to put your stops and targets. But it also depends on everyone has a different strategy. Some people are trading a reversion to mean, other people are trading breakouts. So if you have a big volume area, some people will trade into that because they think it's going to break out and it's going to move higher. So it really depends what kind of trader you are. Are you a reversion trader, or are you a momentum trader or directional trader? Let's see. The 2-week composite chart was calculated using the same volume profile tool, but you can customize it. So Ninja allows you to customize it. For the presentation, I'm not going to get into how to add these to your chart because that would go on another hour, but I'm happy to help you guys put these together. I already have some of these put together. So if you guys want me to send you a template, or NinjaTrader template that already has all the indicators kind of custom built for you, I'm happy to do that. No charge. You just need to reach out to Sai and join, go into the room. And volume zone indicator, let's see. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. This is just another example showing a profile on the left and the right. The profile on the left is intraday, is 1 day. The profile on the right is the 2-week composite from the prior slide. So you can use that to give you multiple, to give you more confluence for your zones of support and resistance. Next slide. As you can see how price reacted there around 3 o'clock, price went up into that zone. Again, I showed you guys before, this is before price, right? The other slide showed you where price was and how we already had these levels identified off of a 2-week profile. Like, you can't make this up. This is a 2-week profile. The levels were already plotted and price reacted like a magnet to that area. It rejected, and sellers again became more aggressive, pushed price back down to the other range, the end at the bottom of the range. So I'm just kind of showing you another way that confirming that this can be used. And guys, I don't have any other indicators on here. I don't have moving averages. I don't have a bunch of oscillators. My charts don't look like a spaghetti, turnpike. It's like, so I'm really trying to help you guys simplify things. Next slide. Okay, so this is a market depth cumulative overlay, delta overlay, just showing you another example of how this looks. This one's a little cleaner than the first slide. You can see the data plotted there shows trades, it shows volume, it shows the buy volume, it shows the sell volume, it shows your delta percentage, your cumulative delta. This is one of the coolest things to be included in the platform. I don't know why, I honestly don't know why everyone doesn't use this for their trading, especially if you're an intraday trader. If you're a swing trader, you're a position trader, it's not as relevant. But for intraday traders, which are most of you, how you can trade without using this kind of information at your fingertips is mind-boggling. Like, you guys are doing it, you're doing it backwards. You're making it harder than it needs to be. Again, so this covers all of that. You just need to spend some screen time studying it, and you'll be able to make sense of the information. Any questions so far? Let's see. Okay, looks like we got, okay, so someone keeps asking about market profile. Market profile is kind of an older version of volume profile that was used when they wanted to come up with a concept of what price is doing every 30 minutes of the market throughout the day. So market profile, some people still like to use it. Personally, with volume profile, I don't see the need to use market profile. It's kind of redundant. And I think volume profile gives you more relevant or pertinent information. So if you had to choose, if I had to choose, I prefer to use volume profile with VWAP and use a composite profile of volume profile. So meaning like multiple days or the last couple weeks. And then use maybe a couple variations of VWAP, like anchor VWAP. You can do daily VWAP, and then pivots. Pivots I didn't even go into, but you can also add levels of pivots to confirm. And when you see confluence in your pivot levels, your volume profile levels, then add this intraday tool such as market depth, the footprint chart, along with your delta tool on the subchart, you can kind of see everything you need to see. And it's just going to make things a lot more clear for you. All right, next slide. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. I'm trying to go through this as quickly as possible and not waste your time.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to add something real quick, Paul, while you go through the questions. We can go into more in depth on a lot of these that Paul is sharing. And if you want to ask questions directly, have some more one-to-one time, we can do a session in our chat room itself. I posted the links to join the chat room and the website. You can join from either one. You can also see our social media links on there, but we can go more in depth on these setups, and Paul can show you how to actually set them up in NinjaTrader platform itself, and how you can also tweak them, which he was talking about earlier. And also, I want to add one quick thing, that anybody who draws anything but horizontal lines, such as Fibonacci levels, support resistance levels, 50, 200 standard moving averages, exponential moving averages, or VWAP, etc. Anybody who draws any other lines like that, they are not, basically they're not real, right? There's no such thing as vertical lines. If anybody else tells you different, they're not that educated in the stock market itself, because anybody can draw a vertical line however they'd like. Right, there's things like MACD, RSI, things like that are continuous smooth lines, but anybody that draws their own lines and makes up their own patterns, That's not real. So I just want to make that quick input. So anything that you've seen that Paul has shared with the NinjaTrader setups, these are all built-in strategies, so they will have their support resistance indicators themselves. But anybody who draws anything but horizontal lines, it's not real.
Yeah, and then, just to touch on fibs, I used to be very, very into Fibonacci levels. And the nice thing is there's a convenient tool in every platform to plot Fibonacci levels, but so many people use them in the way that I think is also incorrect. And they can, I think, because the nature of markets, price is fractal in nature. So Fibonacci has its place in terms of just seeing how much something has moved or retraced from a high to low. That's about it. That's the only time I would say, hey, a fib might be useful to help you find a pullback if you're doing a high to low swing or a low to high swing and you want to see, has it retraced 50% of that move? Has it retraced 68%, 80%, 20%? So that is the only way I would really recommend to use a Fibonacci tool. And then, that would be another discussion to go into, a couple other things you can do with Fibonacci to do that, but I typically don't recommend it. You can visualize, you can see a 50% retracement. You really don't need a Fibonacci tool to do that. But anyone that builds a strategy or entries and all this off of something coded up saying it's using some proprietary Fibonacci calculation, that to me is just nonsense. There's nothing substantiating that. I don't think anyone has actual data showing how that would actually work in terms of profitability. So wrap it up here, Pinnacle setup, identify potential setups. We're going to go with volume profile charts to show you high probability areas of real-time support and resistance. I can actually say real-time. It's not a lagging indicator because we're using volume that's already traded, meaning historical volume that's already traded, and we're plotting lines across a chart, and then price will react to those levels in real time, as I already showed you. So, and then if you add pivots to confirm those areas, you're just improving your odds, or you're improving your probability. You have more confirmation or more confluence using, let's identify daily, weekly, and quarterly levels on volume nodes. So you can use a daily chart, plot the high volume, low volume nodes, point of controls, all those things that come with volume profile. You can do that on a weekly chart if you want to go back that far, and you can even go back, quarterlies and yearlies. I don't think it's necessary for what we're doing. I think daily, at the most weekly, would probably be enough. And then VWAP. Just remember, VWAP is more effective earlier in the session than later in the day. So if you're taking VWAP trades right before the close, you're probably just, it's pure luck. You're not really, it's not based on anything, because the power of VWAP comes from its earlier, it starts calculating at the open of the session, of the regular trading session, okay, not including the overnight. And then from there, as more volume is added to the market, the VWAP loses its ability to react or to move as the calculation is done, because it requires a lot more volume to get that to move on the calculation on the chart. So you really want to focus on taking VWAP setups early in the morning, first couple hours of the session. That's when it's going to be most effective. That's when you're going to get the most bang for your buck out of each trade. So that's just a pro tip I'm going to share with you guys. I never heard anyone else mention that. People love to talk about VWAP this, VWAP that, and they trade. It looks like they're trading all day long with VWAP, and that's not the best way to use it. So in my opinion, market depth footprint to confirm whether buyers or sellers are more aggressive. We talked about there's a buyer for every seller. It's not more buyers or more sellers. It's, are they more aggressive on one side or the other? And then finally, utilizing multiple time frames to execute these setups. So you can have a daily chart, you can have a 60-minute chart for the intraday trend, and then a 15 or 5-minute or 3-minute to identify your specific entries. Okay, and then you can also do, alternatively, you can also use tick charts. I like to use tick charts. I use a 4,500, a 1,500 tick, and like a 600 tick for the ES. And then you can adjust that slightly to lower levels for the NQ. So that pretty much sums up how I would use the order flow tools within NinjaTrader. I'm not here to sell you a $3,000 package of indicators, unfortunately, guys, for me. So everything that you need is already in the platform. Don't waste your money. use that money that you would spend on more indicators to fund your account. Put more money in your account, because the best way you're going to get better at this is to actually trade live. Paper trading is great. It has its place. I wouldn't use it to actually practice trading. For me, in my opinion, sim trading or paper trading is really only useful for learning how to use a platform. Once you learn how to execute the trades and how to use the DOM, how to place your orders using ChartTrader, how to use the platform effectively, then you want to go switch to a live trade and start trading live with live money, because that's when your emotions are going to be tested. That's when you're going to really know how you react to losing money or making money. And it really is important to trade a live account to learn how to trade. You will never learn how to trade well on sim or paper. So that is my professional opinion. All right, how many points do you like to capture? There's a few questions here. So I think I'm done with the slides, Sai. Let me go through these questions real quick, and then I'll let you close it out. Any specific questions? Let's see. Pivot tools are, yes, Keith, I agree. Pivot tools are great to add with a few other things, and they can be very, very powerful. How many points do you like to capture on NQ before ending the trade? So again, NQ, you want to look at each day's different, right? Sometimes NQ has a tight range. So am I going to go for 10, 15 points if it's only trading in a 5-point range? No, I'm not. That's not realistic. So you have to look at what the trading range is that day. And you're going to have to wait probably the first 30 minutes to an hour to see what that range looks like. And is there economic news that day? Are there other catalysts that are moving the markets that day? Did the Fed come out and raise interest rates, which created a huge sell-off? So a lot of things you just have to pay attention to. So I can't give you, it would be disingenuous for me to give you a number. I can't give you a value. To that question, Joseph. Would it be possible to see real-time trades using these charts to get an overall sense of how to use them? We could certainly try to do that through the Discord. I can maybe try to do a live session either on Zoom, or I'm not sure if Discord has like a live stream, but we'll figure that, we could talk about that. All right, any other questions about NinjaTrader or how any of the tools that I showed you guys today?
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about our chat room. We have that live webinar or live trading section so that we can do everything in one platform itself. We can do live session where Paul or I can present, and you guys can ask us questions, anything you want to share, like your own chat charts itself. And we can do another session more in depth on things that Paul touched up on today.
How do you determine the ATR with indicator? So typically for an ATR, I wouldn't go more than 1 to 2 days. Plot the ATR. The ATR is an indicator. Let me clarify, guys. ATR is an indicator, I believe, built into NinjaTrader as well. You do not have to buy it. It's very simple. It just calculates what the range is for an instrument. So every instrument you want to trade, you start tracking and as you get better or as you gain experience with that instrument, if all you trade is ES or NQ or YM or corn, wheat, soy, you're going to know what the range tends to be over time, right? So you don't have to use the ATR forever, but it's a nice way to get you kind of immediately give you some accurate information on what the range is for something. So, like you can't trade Google the same way you trade a penny stock, because the way it moves, the amount of shares traded is night and day. So same thing goes for futures. You can't trade ES the same way you trade NQ. Yes, they do move the same direction when there's a market move, right? So if the market sells off, they both tend to go down, but they go down by different, they're I would say fractal in nature. So they're different values to that. And so you just want to know what those ranges are. And so using the ATR, I would say no more than 1 to 3 days. If you're using a weekly ATR, that could give you a great, better broad picture perspective, but I think you're going out too far. When really what you want to know is what is happening that day. So keep it short. That way you can see what the ATR is for the last maybe 2 days, 2 sessions, and go from there. Question on cumulative delta, can we easily see absorption? I think so. I think just based on the slide, that if you go back and, what this is recorded, so you can go back and watch this. But if you look at the slide I posted earlier, right there, you can see what's happening at each level of price, right? So, and it's in that data is being interpreted for you as a percentage delta. So I like the Cume Delta tool in this way, visually this way, rather than in candles, because this tells me more specifically in a term that I can make sense of. I'm seeing a number relative to another number, right? I know what negative 17% is relative to 0. I know what positive 5% is relative to 0. So for me, yes, that data is easily interpreted, and you can see that, and you can see what's happening when price is consolidating, and you can see where the, as you said, absorption. So in my opinion, this is an excellent tool to help you identify that and to kind of keep track of where price has been, because you can go back on this. So, all right. Any other questions, guys? All right, so you want to close it out with the last couple slides? And
Yeah, thanks, Paul, for sharing all of that. And of course, like I said, we can go over all of these more on point and more in depth based on your questions in our chat room. We'll pick a day and time, maybe mostly on the weekends, which seems to work for everybody. And we'll go over these more in depth. You can message me, you can message Paul, you can ask in the general chat room with your questions, and we'll get back to you on that. So we haven't sold anything, as you can see so far. We haven't sold any scripts, which a lot of people sell, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and we don't believe in selling that. We don't believe in selling a chat room either. Our chat room is free to join. Only thing we focus on is education itself. And that's why I put the course together, because I used to do a lot of one-to-one sessions and a lot of people were interested, and I just didn't have the time to go through each and every person to teach them the same material over and over again. So that's why I put a course together, because this is the only course you'll need for the stock market itself: trading, investing, etc. So taking this course will cut your learning curve immediately and give you all the tools you need to become an educated trader and investor in the stock market. Education is important in any field, whether you want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer, you want to be an artist, you want to even teach other people. You need education to share your knowledge, and you need to gain this knowledge through someone who is experienced and who's someone who is a confident trader, investor, and knows how to teach you that, so that's not intimidating and it's easy to go into it. So why would you go into markets blind, lose money for nothing, and learn that way, rather than take the guesswork out and you can take advantage of the markets through our refined strategies and proper education? This course includes everything you need for the stock market, lifetime access. It's a one-time purchase, and I update the course throughout the time, over the months, over the weeks. Whenever I find little tweaks or I find new strategies, I updated it. And you have access to the chat room and also our private YouTube streams, and exclusive VIP access, and lots more. So are you guys ready to get your education in the stock market itself? One course to cover everything. And this process has been simplified into rules, methodology, and that can be followed through a system. And this course, it can teach you to do all of this on your own. If you want to share it with a friend, that's all right. If you want to take it with your family or your spouse, or your loved one, or even just a friend that's really interested in getting the stock market, you can share it with them. And I really want you guys to take this course, not just to trade and make money, but really understand the stock market. So first we start off with the psychology, because you want to be in the right mindset to trade and invest. And then we get into the actual trading, the basics of it, what the stock market is, how it runs, and why it's important every day. And then we get into the actual trading and investing. We start off with regular day trading, swing trading, a lot of videos and examples to show you. I have some live videos of me trading in there as well. And then I have a lot of notes to follow along. And some are short videos, some are medium videos. So because not everybody has the attention span to listen to hours and hours of videos. I keep it very simple, straight to the point, just like we are today. And then we also look at money management, which is risking a trade. Just like I called out in my day trade idea, I call that where I'm getting in, exiting, things like that. We go over stop loss, setting your risk management. And then we also cover stocks, options. And then recently we added futures trading because we're going over the NinjaTrader presentation. A lot of people requested the futures trading. So Paul has a lot of videos in the course which deal with the specific NinjaTrader platform itself. So we can, of course, do a live session with you to go over them. But if you purchase a course, it's already in there. You can get started immediately after this webinar. And we have an exclusive offer at the end of the presentation I wanted to go over with you. So I see a question that we mentioned the VIP versus members. So the chat room is completely free to join for everybody. And the VIP section, I made that because we use a lot of advanced strategies from the course itself that I call out, which I feel isn't fair to members who haven't purchased a course to go through those. And also lead them to VIP members, just because you want to have the education on how to take these more advanced options, different type of strategies from the course itself, so that you can use those specifically to take the trades. So hope that answered that question over there.
Yeah, let me just add something to that. So guys, what Sai's offering here is basically a trading course. And one of the main things Sai does is he trades options and spreads and things like that. So if you want to get, it's always good to diversify into other methods. So like I trade options myself. I also trade futures and I trade equities. Not everybody's going to do that, but if you're interested in learning more about how he trades, and he does, his stats speak for themselves. The room does very, very well. Again, we're not selling a futures course here, but it's an overall trading course. And I think Sai will go into more in depth on that. But essentially what I offered here today to you guys was complimentary. This was basically how to use the order flow tools, show you a specific setup. And again, I'm not charging for that. We're not selling anything else outside of that. So the only thing today is the course. I just wanted to add that, Sai. So if you want to go ahead.
Thanks, Paul, for adding in on that. Yeah, the only thing we have here is something that's beneficial to you. It's an education program. We'll go over the price in just a second. We have an exclusive offer right at the end of the presentation. We're not selling you any order tools, which I've seen people charge a lot of money amount. Why? Because it's included in a lot of your trading platforms. Whether you're using NinjaTrader or you're using other platforms currently, a lot of them are included. We just show you how to put them together, how to tweak them. And if you have any questions, you can ask us one-to-one. If you need me to go over a VWAP specifically and you have questions, write them down. We'll even do a one-to-one session on an evening one day, and I'll go over anything, any questions you have from the course itself. And I offer that because I want people to learn and know how to take these trade ideas that we call out and be more educated on them. And I do a lot of options myself, and I find that beneficial to teach because a lot of our packages that are sold out there are just for swing trading, just for day trading, but we cover everything, which means day trading, swing trading, long-term investment, money management for long-term, a lot of our strategies, and you have lifetime access. You can also talk to us one-to-one sessions, everything like that. We also update it as we go on. And whether you're working a full-time job, whether you want to become a full-time trader, or whether you just want to invest the money you have on the side, you don't really have want to put too much time into the market itself, we cover all those different type of strategies. So if you want to trade half hour for the week, or whether you want to trade for a couple hours in the morning, we have a lot of these strategies that can cover you on that. And this is what the course offers. It's a quick overview of the curriculum, like I mentioned earlier. The main thing that we cover immediately is the trading psychology itself, how to get in the mindset and how to jump in that driver's seat. And the stock market education. So we cover how the market works, master technical analysis like candlestick patterns, chart patterns that Paul showed you, volume indicators, and cut your learning curve, how to manage your risk so that you know where to enter, you know where to exit, and all of these things before you even get in the trade. Just like when you're driving, you know when you're going to signal, you know when you're going to brake, you know when to press accelerator, all these things before you actually go out in the real world and drive. And trading psychology, again, this is very important because we want to overcome emotions and a lot of this market noise, and how to invest like a system itself, and how to know when to get in, when to get out, when to cut losses, when to overcome all these emotions that I see a lot of people, it just takes over them. And that's why a lot of people would just give up because there's no education and somebody kind of guiding you in the right direction. And then we actually jump in how to trade and invest stocks, options, futures, um, short-term trading, mid-term trading, long-term trading, and understand all these concepts, master technical analysis and risk management, and some of my secrets to you. So when I said that, hey, whether you're working full-time job or whether you just want to swing trade or be a full-time trader, I have all these strategies in there, which you can use to maybe create full-time income, some side income, or you want to trade for fun, or you want to be a full-time trader. We cover all of these in the course. And again, we differ from others because we don't charge fee for chat room. We don't charge fee for unnecessary things like things that are already included in NinjaTrader. We just show you how to put them together. All these tools are available to you. And we don't throw out alerts. We throw out trade ideas, which means they're all educated, hand-picked ideas. And I myself only trade about 5 to 10 stocks every day. So that means a lot of these alerts are going to be on similar stocks. So there's no reason to pull up a new stock every day. A lot of these are the same handpicked stocks, and I refined these over the years. So I'm mostly trading 3-4 different stocks, and you can trade them any way you like. And that keeps it very, very simple. And we say that less is more. And no high pressure sales tactics. We're not here to constantly alert the course, constantly sell you things. We're here to teach you. And we want to thank everybody for attending. We take our time out of the day because we want to bring in people who are interested in stock market, who really want to learn and grow. And whether you take the course or you have other education like books or online videos, whichever it is, we really want you to be part of the chat room. The chat room is completely free. So the main thing we want to take away from today's presentation is that NinjaTrader's trading software equips traders with award-winning platform, and you have all these tools that Paul showed you, and we can cover those in another session more in depth. And my course, this is your game changer. That cuts your learning curve and all the tools you need for the stock market. So normally I've seen a lot of courses go for thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars. Our regular price is $397. Today we're only having that for $297, and for lifetime access. It's a one-time, one single thing, one purchase, and it's a lifetime access, which gets updated over the time. And you can grab that at pinnacletrading.us. Just go to the website and click on the tab on the top right or scroll down to click on the course. And the course is already discounted at checkout. So there's no need to enter any codes or anything to grab the course. And I know not everybody could make it today, but everybody that did, I want to thank you for taking your time out of the day. Hope this was beneficial, whether you want to choose us or you just want to join the chat room, kind of see how we do, you're welcome to do that. But this session will also be recorded and posted online. So I'll leave this promo until end of the week, and then it will go back to the normal pricing. So hope to see you in the chat room. Say hello when you join, and we'll go on from there. And I'll hand it over to Paul.
Yeah, thank you guys. And no matter what you do moving forward, just focus on what you have available. Don't be quick to go and spend your money and buy a bunch of indicators and things. It's not going to change your trading. I believe you have everything you need to get going. And if we can help, we're here to help. If not, hopefully you find another path to successful trading. And I'll turn it over to NinjaTrader.
All right. Well, I want to thank Sai and Paul again for taking the time to share with us today. If you enjoyed today's session, we hope you will join us in future webinars. We would like to remind you that the information provided was that of Pinnacle Trading and not of NinjaTrader. All information was for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Enjoy the rest of your day. We hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from all of us here at NinjaTrader.